Woo. What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you're catching this video, just waking up from a nap, and I was listening to Myron Golden, and he was talking about 7 things that what was he talking about? Seven ways, 7 things that's preventing you from getting unstuck, basically. And he touched on something that I want to touch on within that video. He was talking about how, like, one of them, I think it was like number 4 in that video. He was talking about how one of the reasons that we get unstuck is because we hesitate to have hard conversations. Hard conversations. This is powerful. And I had to stop the video. I was literally just watching the video, so I stopped the video to come out here and kind of touch on it. I started to make a video. As a matter of fact, I did make a video this morning, and I didn't like how it felt. It felt forced, and it felt like I was reaching. Though there was good moments in the video, I felt like I wasn't really. I was just making a video to make a video to post something, and I don't want that to be. I don't want that to be what I'm doing here. You know what I'm saying? So I would much rather just have a day where I don't upload, even though it's not the best thing for maybe the algorithm and the metrics for YouTube. But I think that's a decision that's going to maybe slow down the channel growth, but it's not gonna. But it's going to enhance the quality of the channel and the quality of the community. So that's something I'm willing to bear. But this came to get back to the point, having those hard conversations. I want to talk about 2 aspects of that, right? Man, first off, shout out to Mara Golda for that, because that is absolutely true. And a lot of growth in our life comes from having hard conversations, because a lot of times hard conversations are linked to blockages inside of our emotional and mental and psychological systems. You know, but here's the thing, though. Sometimes you can have conversations. Sometimes that conversation is available. Sometimes you can talk to the other party. You know what I mean? And it's just you getting in your own way. Sometimes we are getting in our own way. And other times, we're not having that conversation because we know that the other party is not a open it's not an open channel where we can actually have that conversation and actually, you know what I'm saying, walk through, get through it together, like really express our points. Which that could be fear, that could be fear, but it's when you know what I mean? And it does require discernment to know the difference. But I just want to touch on both of those. If you happen to have somebody that is on the other side of a hard conversation, you know, and you know that there's an openness to talk about it, but you just have these fears of what if they don't understand? What if our relationship change? Um, what if we don't agree? Then I strongly suggest like still going forward with that conversation, because conversations like that, they are low key doorways for real. They really are. That's what I've experienced in my lifetime. I've had so much monumental change when I have took the step or made the decision to have these very hard conversations. It's almost like they gave me permission, not the other person per se, but just my decision and willingness to have that conversation and to go to that door, to open that door. They gave me permission to move forward. They gave me permission to change, you know. Um, and a part of you wanting to have a conversation is because of that. And it could be for many reasons. Um, it can be because you want to change and you're connected to somebody that you feel is holding you down. And maybe not even intentionally. Or maybe you want to set a boundary. Maybe you're starting to understand something about yourself that you didn't previously. And, you know, maybe it's time to have that conversation and let that other person know what's going on with you, you know, and how you feeling and where you at. Or, you know what I'm saying? It could be anything, but you know, like, we know when we need to express something. And if you do have a person on the other side of that the equation that is open to hearing you and open to traversing that with you, then you blessed, you know what I'm saying? But I strongly advise doing it. Like, I have had hard conversations with loved ones and friends and family that led into a negative place, but ultimately ended up leading to good because, like I say, it still gave me permission and it gave me power within myself, you know. And then I've had conversations that went way better than I could have imagined. Like, it made our relationship deeper. It made my relationship with myself deeper and my relationship with them deeper. And we grew together, you know. We grew together, and it was like a very powerful, abundant thing. Then next, sometime, what do you do like when you want to have this conversation with somebody, but you have tried to have the conversation with them multiple times, so you know how they're gonna respond. You know how they're gonna behave. You know what I'm saying. You know pretty much that you're not gonna be able to have a a a a respectable or graceful, uh, conversation that leads anywhere. But you're ready to get past this thing. Well, in those cases, sometimes we have to cut our losses. And that's after you have, I would strongly suggest, after you have exhausted all of your efforts and your resources and have tried, that's when that's when we then have to cut our losses. You know, that's when it's just I walk away. You know what I'm saying? I give the permission to myself. I just change. And in order to do that, a lot of people don't want to do that because it's scary because you might still be caring about what they think, which it's only natural because you care about them. But at the end of the day, you were put into a position where you had to make a choice for yourself, for your well-being, self-preservation. You had to move in self. And all those times that you went to them and tried to talk to them and tried to express yourself was you trying to move with them. But once somebody doesn't want to grow and doesn't want to move with you, you have to give yourself permission to not need their permission to move forward. And that does look like, okay, they might think I'm acting funny, they might think I'm being a certain way, but you have to make space for yourself to let that be the case for a while as you make a claim for your growth. At that point you fighting for your life. You fighting for new life for yourself. And that's one of the strongest things that you can do, and it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's worth it. So sometimes you can't have conversations with certain people, but you're still allowing them to keep you stuck. Don't do that. And if you have been doing that, give yourself permission. I'm giving you permission, man. Leave that shit. Leave. Like if you can't reconcile and they don't want to give you that space or they can't give you that space, it's up to you. because you're gonna end up growing resentment otherwise. For somebody who may not even be capable of moving, but the fact that you feel the need to move forward, you know, you are. You want something different, and you deserve a chance at that. And that no matter who it is on the other side. It could be your parents, it could be your children, significant other, siblings, whatever. It doesn't matter who it is. Because ultimately this is about your journey. This is about your evolution, and you know, and even though that relationship may fail, which if it come to this point, like where you can't talk to them, it's already failed. 9 times out of 10, you were just holding on to it. When you let those things go, you're taking claim for new relationships, very powerful, healthy relationships, to now come into the mix. So I wish you peace in that, and I hope that Gay did something for you. With that being said, that's the video. Man, I've been struggling for some reason doing my outros, but whether today is a rough day or an easy day, whether you are struggling to make ends meet or you're at the pinnacle of your success, either way, the greatest place that you can come from is right where you are. Not perfect, just real. I wish you peace, love, and abundance every single day, but especially the days when it rains. With that being said, I am out. If you appreciated the content, watched it all the way through, just hit that like button, and got more videos right here that you can check out for more news you can use. That being said, I'm signing out. Appreciate you.